Hey folks, Maverick Indicators here. All right, hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. It's a short trading day on Friday with the holiday, and then we had Saturday and Sunday off rather. And it is bright and early in the morning here. And I'm keeping my eye on ES. The Maverick buy-sell beta, man, I just haven't highlighted this enough. This is an indicator, a bonus indicator that comes in the Ultimate Edge bundle. And it just has been killing it lately. And what I got my eye on here, if I could bring this up, is we really have been coming up since this zone, came all the way up to this zone, getting hung up on this zone, all auto-drawn by the Maverick zones. We're just kind of bouncing around here. We're starting to get bearish data, and I would love to break this zone. I think that would be really cool. Would love to take that trade and kind of retrace. When you get these type of moves up like this and you smack that zone, you get a little bit of friction. At some point you're going to break back down to this zone, or we're going to continue to the upside. But we're getting a lot of bearish data. So I do have to use a little caution. It's 6:59 and we're in market manipulation time right here. The Maverick atomic clock turns red during that time. So I just don't want to get stuck in this chop in between these two zones. Now, how cool is it that the Maverick zones auto draws my support and resistance zones? I have the major zones on right now because I don't want to get caught up in the minutia of things. But how cool is it that I already know where my zones are? I didn't even touch anything. I turned on my indicators and we're ready to go. So I'm going to keep my eye on this. I know you guys like to know, like previously, as I'm coming into a trade. If you're unfamiliar with our indicators, it's really simple. The Maverick AI Pro colors your candles like a heat map. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. If you see bright green, it might just fly right off your screen. I can show you this over and over again. Gray, we really don't like to get into gray. Red is your second strongest downside data candle. So there's only 5 colors to know, but it essentially turns your chart into a heat map of a formula we're running to understand the buying and the selling and the severity. It's a pretty complex formula, but it's really, really cool. And man, this thing has just been killing it, this buy-sell beta. Just really, really neat. Anyway, it comes in the Ultimate Edge bundle. AI Pro colors your background to the trend. You can see we're in choppiness, so you're getting different background colors. And we don't have a score right now on the Ultimate Trading Assistant, the Maverick Radar, which goes through our entire checklist to see, do we even have a setup? And it'll grade each one of these ingredients to give you an overall grade. Right now it's, oh, well, there you go. You got a B set up to the downside, but this is calculating every single tick. So we got to get through this zone here. I don't want to get stuck in this. I don't want to get stuck in chop for an hour. That's a boring trade. It's not what I'm interested in doing. I'd like to break a zone or start to break a zone, get in, and take that sucker to the next zone. This is a zone-to-zone game. You can see that so clearly here. Okay, came up, hit this zone. You had a zone down here, but I only have. You can set the Maverick zone so you can show as many zones as you want above or below price. I don't need zones way down here to be drawn and take like CPU power. So we came up here, hit this, came down here to this zone, came here, got friction, continued to the upside, came back down, came up to this zone, came up to, and now you're just playing ping pong here between these two zones. What's cool is you look back here and you say, oh, you pumped up and you hit friction. How did you know that it could go to the upside? Well, your Maverick AI Pro colors your candles to the data, not to price and direction. How cool is that? How did you know that you were going to reject off of here? Well, you had red candle, which is your second strongest downside data candle. You had a sell signal here, and then you had bright pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. This is the edge that a lot of our indicators give us, and we stack probability in our favor. Here's a great example. Right now, you're moving up. You're pumping up pretty good, right? Well, look, all 5 traders, T1 through T5, think of these as traders, okay? All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames right now. Look, you got an up confidence arrow. You have green candles, your second strongest upside data candle. So we put all this together so that we just have multiple things that we look at. Draw a little checklist here at 7 in the morning, and we just go, oh, we have green candles. Oh, okay. Oh, you got an up confidence arrow. Oh, okay. Oh, you got green background. Oh, okay. So for my scalpers out there, if you like smaller moves, man, you have all 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames, for crying out loud. I wouldn't go short on this candle, but we're looking for a bigger move. It'd be really nice if we can get just, one move and move on with our day. So we're going to wait as we're ping-ponging between these 2 zones drawn by the Maverick zones. And by the way, it gives you this probability score. Oh, look, you got a buy signal now, but we'd wait for the candle to close. We want to make sure that, this is calculated every single tick. But as you come up here, it's going to give you this probability score of price holding or breaking. So really, really, really cool stuff. Powerful tools. Gives us clarity on our charts. But again, it's 7 in the morning. We're going to be bouncing around. No big deal. But we're going to wait for a break of one of these zones, either here or here. I'd like to be bearish and just take this sucker all the way down, but whatever. We're going to take what the market gives us, all right? So I'll keep coming back here, and we'll check on the charts and see what's panning out. But look at this. Now you got bright green candles. You had the buy signal right here. I wouldn't be shocked if this comes up here and taps this zone. Easily taps that zone, but we don't know. Yeah, see how it's pumping up? Man, you had such a heads up. Bright green candle, buy signal. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. Now you got an A+ set up to the upside, but it is manipulation time, so you got to be careful here. But you got a weak zone right here. I wouldn't be surprised if it popped right through. So we might change our bias and go long, but let's just see what happens here. Yeah, it's really pumping. Wow. This is a perfect example of how these indicators just told you what was high probability of happening next. If this thing breaks through, I might take a tester here. I sit on my hands the first minute and last minute of a new candle, because I believe there's massive market manipulation the first minute and last minute of a 5-minute candle. But man, what a pump. Guys, this thing called it way back here, right here. And this thing just pumped. Look at this. Listen, I'm not taking this trade, of course. But this thing, 763. This thing went 10 points. 40 ticks while we're sitting here, and now it's keep continuing to pump. This is the power of these indicators. Unbelievable. And you had clear vision. You had bright green candles. You had a buy signal way down here, 10 points before the thing even, where are we at, 76? It called it at 62. You see this? Look, it called it at 62. It tells you the price it called it at. And we just hit a high of 77. It went another 15 points. Guys, that's 60 ticks. 60 ticks. 60 ticks. That indicator, obviously multiple indicators called. What's 60 ticks on ES? 60 ticks times 1250. That's a $750 move on one contract. Go back and watch our videos. A lot of times we do 2 to 3 contracts. That's a $750 move this sucker just called. You had an A+ setup on the Ultimate Trading Assistant, the Maverick Radar. Maverick Trender is now pegged to the top. This is what you see when you see massive strength and momentum. We call these flat tops. You have an uptrend label, bright green candles. What I say back here, if you see bright green, it might just fly right off your screen. And then all 5 traders, T1 through T5, think of them as traders, they're algorithms, but think of them as traders. They all have a completely different style. They're all voting bullish across 6 time frames. This is the power of these indicators. Now again, I'm on a funded account. It is 7 a.m. I'm looking for stronger moves. I was hoping for a bearish move. I figured maybe we'd come back, we tap this and we come back down. But man, look how quickly we can change our bias and how this thing just guided us to go, nope, you might want to be bullish if you're going to take a trade here. And I'll just remind you that this sucker, you saw it, this is a live recording, called it at 62.25. So where's that? 62.25. Let me mark it here. 62.25. Called it right there. Sorry, that's not the best color. Let's see here. Let's change this color here. Let's go white. It called it right here. Buy signal. We had bright green candles. This sucker went all the way up. And where did it tap? Where did it tap? This thing went for $750. Where did it tap? Look. The bottom of your zone. That was already drawn by your Maverick zones. Hello. Pretty sick stuff. All right, cool. So I'm going to, obviously I want to take a trade, but this is just a really good live example of how powerful these indicators are and how this thing just absolutely called it back here for a $750 move. Pretty awesome. And we had an A+ setup on the Maverick radar. The Maverick radar tells you when you have no setup, a B setup, which we want to know when the B setups are happening, and then our A+ setup. And it'll tell you if you're going up or if you're going down. Pretty cool. We are at the turn of the clock here, manipulation time, if you will. So I'm going to sit on my hands, and you can see this thing came all the way up. $750 move right there. All right, I'm going to keep my charts up, and I'm going to wait for another move. And it is kind of doing what we suspect for the long haul, where we're just ping-pong in between here. Now, you did break here. You might ping-pong between the next zones, but we'll see here, and we'll pay attention to our zone scores and all that stuff. So, but we don't get these massive moves usually at 7 in the morning, but we'll see what the market gives us. But how cool is it that that just clearly pointed out that trade? I don't know how you get any clearer on that trade. That was crazy. All right, cool, guys. I'm going to leave my screens up, and we'll come back, and we will take an actual trade today. All right, sorry, I was trying to get my record button going here. ASAP. CL. I'm on CL, and this thing is just, I think it's going to start ripping down here. I might add to the position, and I'll get into why I'm in this trade, but we got hot pink candles. Hot pink candles are your strongest downside data candle. I'm not risking too much. Got my stop loss a little bit above this zone, drawn by the Maverick zones. I'm actually going to load a couple more. Let's see here. Okay, so our next zone, look at this. This is wild. All right, so let me explain why I'm in this trade. You got a red background. The bears are in control. We got hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Pink is your strongest downside data candle. Bright green is your strongest upside data candle. The Maverick AI Pro colors your candles to the data, not to price and direction. Look at this thing. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Taking a little bit of heat here, but that's okay. Down confidence hero. Love seeing that. All right, so we got red background. We have hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. We have an A+ setup on the ultimate trading assistant, the Maverick Radar. The Maverick Radar goes through our entire checklist of things that we're looking for, and it grades each one. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give you a total grade right here. And it'll either say, nah, you don't have a setup. Well, maybe you got a B setup, and then it'll say, yep, you got an A setup. And right now we have an A+ setup to the downside on the Ultimate Trading Assistant, double checking, confirming our eyes. How many times have you gotten into a trade And you get stopped out, you go back and you go, what the heck was I thinking? Well, let the Maverick radar down here be your eyes and confirm what you think you're seeing. Do you really have an A+ setup, right? All 5 traders right here, up here, this is the Maverick Multi-X, okay? Think of T1 through T5 as traders, all right? They're algorithms and they all have a completely different style, but think of them as traders. And they're voting across 6 time frames. Look how small I have this up here. I don't need, you know, all these charts on my screen and I'm trying to read them all and I'm trying to see what's going on this one, what's going on this one, what's going on this one. No. I just want my Maverick Multi-X in a nice, neat little box up here. 5 traders voting across 6 time frames. You can set these time frames for whatever you want. You can actually add a 7th time frame. And are they voting bullish or bearish? If I put you in the room with 5 other traders that all had a completely different style and they were all voting bearish right now, they were all voting down, would that give you more confidence to take this to the downside? Probably. I would think it would, right? We're getting hung up on this zone here. This is drawn by the Maverick zones, which auto draws are support and resistance zones. And if you look right now, and let me just show you this, it gives you a probability score of price holding or breaking at this zone. Price a lot of times, not every time, likes to move away from the stronger zone, okay? Now you are in the last minute of the 5-minute turn. See how the Maverick atomic clock down here turns red? This is manipulation time. This is manipulation time. So the Maverick atomic clock is gonna turn red. Okay. Now, if we can break through this zone, here's what I want to really show you guys. And by the way, the Maverick trender, we call these flat tops. When this line is flattened to the top, we called it all the way back here. And it's been pushing down since. Get this downtrend label. If we can break through this zone, which it looks like it wants to, although you are in your first minute of the new 5-minute turn, if it breaks through this zone, where's your next zone? Your next zone is way down here. And this is a zone-to-zone game. Just look at this. Look at price action for the last couple hours here. You know, this is a zone-to-zone game. Now look at your scores, 95. This is like a brick wall. Anything over 90 is like a brick wall. Look at this score, 71. What did I tell you? Price likes to move away from the stronger zone. So once we get out of this first minute of the 5-minute turn, this is manipulation time. When this time turns white, I can add to my position. All right. Now I'm going through things quickly because I'm trying to show you these indicators and trade at the same time. But we got an A+ setup to the downside on the Ultimate Trading Assistant. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. How powerful is that? We are getting hung up on this zone. Okay, even though it's a weak score, it's still a zone. The Maverick zones auto draws your support and resistance zones by probability, not just where price was before. So how cool would it be if we can break this zone? Your next zone is down here, which is crazy, at least by our formula. Okay, so we're getting hung up here. It is a real zone. I don't care what the score is. The score could be 10. It's still a zone to be contended with. There's still orders on both sides of the zones that these orders need to get gobbled up before we can head to the downside. But if we do, believe you and me, I'm going to add to this position. Okay. Getting a little bit of retracement, red background, hot pink candles, your strongest downside data candle. All 5 traders, except for trader 1 and trader 3, they're a little bullish on the 1 minute right now because you're getting a little retracement. But again, you're gonna get hung up on this zone. It's a zone. But how cool is it that you know exactly where it is? Okay, A+ setup to the downside on the Ultimate Trading Assistant. So you just lost it for a second. This calculates every single tick. You have a downtrend label down here. Maverick trender has been pegged. Look at these flat tops. Love this. It's been pegged since here. So since about here all the way down to here. Pretty cool stuff. Boom. Maverick trender. You'll never see it not on my screen. Love it. All 5 traders are still bearish across 6 time frames. Just as I say this, trader 1, trader 3 start voting bullish. That's okay. What we're doing here, folks, I'm trying not to draw too much because I want my mouse to be able to add to this position if I need to, is we're stacking probability. All right, we're stacking probability. Okay, do we have a red background? Are the bears in control? Yes. What color are our candles? Oh, pink, your strongest downside data candle. Okay, so we just have 2 check marks here. All 5 traders, they're all voting bearish across 6 time frames. Oh, okay, here's your 3rd check mark to the downside. We have an A+ setup to the downside on the Ultimate Trading Assistant, the Maverick Radar. It's giving us this alert. Okay, there's a 4th piece. Oh, Maverick Trender has been pegged to the top all the way since back here. Oh, okay, that's our 5th piece. So now we're confident. And by the way, we get a weak score right here. Totally game for breaking. Stronger score here. Now, you're in that last minute of the manipulation time. Could it come up and stop me out? Absolutely, because this is manipulation time. And I got a tight stop. My stop is tight here because it's 8 in the morning. I'm not going to risk a full-on huge position at 8 in the morning. I'm just not going to do that. So now we just got to watch this thing. But I just love the possibility of leaving this zone here, and your next major zone is way down here, which this is quite the move on CL. This is a massive move. But, you know, we might get stopped out here. And if we do, no big deal, because I have my stop loss so tight. If we come up and we get stopped out, and then all of a sudden it starts to push back down, guess what? I just get back in. Okay, I talk about this all the time. A lot of people, they go, well, my stop is here. Oh, I don't want to get out of the trade, so I'm going to move my stop here. Oh, I'm still in this thing. I'm going to move my stop here. And it's like, all this, you could have saved money, get stopped out, and then once it shows its hand and it wants to go down, you just jump back in. But you didn't give up all this. That'll bite you. But again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Never any guarantees in any market. Got to say that stuff, but you do what's best for you and your account. Whoops, let me get out of there. All right, looks like it wants to push down. If it does, I will add to this position. If we break this zone, let's go. Let's go. But I don't want to get stuck at the bottom of this zone. I want it to really push through. But man, this would be crazy good if it breaks here and it heads. By the way, I would not target this zone down here. This is way too far because it's going to come down. It's going to create a new zone. It's going to come up. But this is your next major zone down here. But I am in no way of saying that I'm thinking it will go from here and then it'll just straight touch here. That is a huge move on CL. And it's cool. As you guys know, I like to trade early in futures, but our indicators work on all the sessions. But I like to trade options using my Maverick indicators later in the day. So once we're done here, later in the day, I trade options using my Maverick indicators, which all the indicators in the Ultimate Edge bundle work on NinjaTrader and TradingView. I'm just on NinjaTrader right now. We had some launches this weekend. The ToolKit here, if you're a NinjaTrader user, gosh, this thing allows you to turn. This is the, I'll put the links below, but it was a launch weekend to members only, early access. Now it's open to everybody. You can essentially turn your TradingView into NinjaTrader. Sorry, you can change your NinjaTrader into TradingView in the fact that you can have all your favorite drawing tools over here. You can add whichever ones you want. Then it's got this on-off button to hide or unhide your indicators. So right now the zones, I could just hide them with one click. And then with one click, I can bring them right back. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah, really, really fun. So we're going to be at a standstill. This is going to be just choppy. Okay. But all signs point that we're going to break to the downside. You have a 59 score. That is low. That's a low score, 84. Pretty high, pretty high. So price a lot of times likes to move away from the stronger zone. Will it here? You know, I got a tight stop loss, really tight stop loss. So we shall see. We shall see. If we get stopped out, no big deal. Okay, no big deal. My account can handle it. Come up. If we get stopped out, we just wait for it to kind of shake out. And then when it does continue to the downside, we just jump back in, you know? We just jump back in. Starting to see a little bit of volatility. We're getting close to manipulation time, which the Maverick atomic clock, which actually comes in this toolkit. Also, another cool thing that comes in the toolkit is the Maverick News. You just turn this sucker on, and it'll tell you if there's any news that could affect the futures market right here. And then if there is, it'll mark it on your chart. So I am terrible at checking the news every morning. Now I'm not, because I just click my button and it's on my charts and it maps it on my chart and everything like that. So pretty cool stuff. And then with one click, I can turn it off. Pretty cool. All right, so we're getting hung up on this zone, which I kind of expected. Look at this zone. Look at the history of this zone. Let me scroll back here. Look at the history on this zone. By the way, the Maverick buy sell beta has just been killing it with these signals. Comes as a bonus indicator in the Ultimate Edge bundle. If you don't have it on your charts, you might want to check it out. But look at all these are 5-minute candles. Couldn't break it here. Couldn't break it here. Couldn't break it here. These are 5-minute candles. Couldn't break it here. Couldn't break it for like 3 days. It hasn't been. Finally broke it this morning. And now we're getting hung up here. High score up here. Gosh, I need to zoom in here. Sorry about this, guys. I zoomed too far out here. Oops, got my... All right. So what I tell you, a lot of times price likes to move away from the stronger zone. That's a strong zone. 96 is strong, but you're in manipulation time. Okay? Atomic clock turns red during manipulation time. You can turn this, you know, option off in the atomic clock. But we're gonna sit on our hands the first minute and last minute of a 5-minute turn. Okay? Just watch this score after in 10 seconds. Watch this score in 10 seconds. Watch this score in 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit. It's not exactly 10 seconds, but you get my point. Okay, so now our time is white. Okay, we're out. We're starting to head outside of manipulation time. Okay, and you'll probably see some movement now. One way or the other, you're going to see some movement. Because we're out of, look, now your score just disappeared. This score is dropping. You have a down confidence arrow. You're back to your A+ setup to the downside. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. Okay, I'm adding to the position. We're breaking this zone. We're past manipulation time. Okay. Oh, now we just broke that zone. Let's see if it comes back. But we just broke the zone that was here. And I have on my settings to remove a zone once broken twice. Well, it broke it here. It gobbled up those orders. And we just broke it here and gobbled up those orders. So now your next zone is way down here. Okay. Now if I want to play the minutia of this thing, I can turn on my minor zones. Red background, hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. A+ setup to the downside on the Ultimate Trading Assistant, the Maverick Radar. Maverick Trender has been pegged this entire time. Look at this. Look at this flat top. This thing has been pegged. It has not moved since here. And look at this. Pretty crazy. This is a huge move on CL, just FYI. Might not seem it, but that is a huge move. All 5 traders are still bearish across 6 time frames. got this down confidence arrow. Okay. It's going to move slow. It's 8 a.m. We don't have news today. So now if I want to see what's going on between this zone up here and this zone here, right? Let's, okay, so now this gives us a little bit more of a look. Here we go. Now we turn on our minor zones and we know we got another zone coming up right here. Weak score, that's okay. But we know, look at this, how cool is it that it hit this zone and it came back up. So we got to make sure we don't run into that where we hit this zone and then, you know, it supports it. Okay, now where are you at? You're in the last minute of the 5-minute turn. You're in manipulation time. The Maverick atomic clock is turning red. So we're going to sit on our hands. We're going to hold judgment. Okay. Let me just keep the minor zones on. So, I mean, really clear stuff. Hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Red background. A+ setup on the Ultimate Trading Assistant. Maverick trender pegged to the top. You have a downtrend label down here. And then if I can squinch this up here, all 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. Okay, I wouldn't go long here. There is so much to the, oh yeah, my drawings move, sorry. There is so much to the downside. Downtrend label, red background, all 5 traders voting bearish. There's so much to the downside. It's like, ugh. Weak score. Kind of want to add to this position, but what I don't want to do is if this score changes and we reject, came right back up to this zone, which we know where the zones are, so that's pretty cool. And I don't like to add to my positions when there's manipulation time, so I gotta wait for this time to turn white. Once it does, I would feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to add to the position. I'm going to bring my stop loss down because I don't want to. Now I'm in 3. There we go. Let's go. Let's go. Weak zone. Hot pink candles. Okay. And you're gonna get contested here. Just because this is a weak score doesn't mean this isn't a zone. And a zone, you know, there's orders here. There's orders here. We gotta chew through this to get to the next zone. Okay, so we could get hung up here. We could come down here and we could just get hung up here. And the way I explain the zones is you could be a 200-mile-an-hour sports car, but when that 200-mile-an-hour sports car hits a wall, it doesn't matter how fast it looks like it's going. It doesn't matter all that stuff. When it hits a brick wall, it hits a brick wall, right? So, and these guys, even though they're a weak score, there's still a barrier in the way. And that car is going to hit it. And what happens, right? Ooh, down confidence arrow. Saw one pop in. It's got to close with the down confidence arrow, but I did see one come in right there. A+ setup to the downside. Maverick trender has not weaned at all. It's like, nah, man. Downside, downside, downtrend. All 5 traders are still voting bearish across 6 time frames. Now, can I close it out for, you know, $300? Yeah, totally. But I want to see what happens here. I want to see, are we going to break this zone? Now, see, it is being contested. Look at this, right to the zone. Let me zoom in here for you. Look at that. Just came down, tapped that zone, and immediately got rejected, which we have to anticipate, right? We know this zone is here. Even though it's a weaker score, there's still a zone here. So not to be surprised when it comes down and it taps here and then it gets a little bit of rejection, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave my screen up because this thing's just it's going to move like molasses. It's going to move really slow. But if you want some clear vision on your charts, if you want edge in the market, if you want something that's going to color your candles like a heat map and let you know the buying and selling level of data and all that stuff that is crunching our formula in the background to let you know, if you see bright green, it might just fly right off your screen. If you see pink, it will most likely sink, right? And we walk you through all this. Gray candles, we don't get into gray candles, that's just chop. If you want something like the ultimate trading assistant, the Maverick radar down here telling you when you have an A+ setup or a B setup. You want to know about the B setups as well. Going through your entire checklist for you to kind of confirm your eyes. If you want to trade with 5 other traders, these are algorithms, but think of them as traders who all have a completely different style across 6 time frames. How powerful is that? And then things like the zones, okay? Auto drawing your support and resistance zones and giving you probability scoring of price holding or breaking. Ooh, down confidence here. I love that. Come check us out, okay? Oh, look at this weak zone, folks. See how it started to turn red? But look, you're in manipulation time. Maverick Atomic Clock that comes in the new PowerPack changes red during manipulation time. So we got to keep our eyes open during this time. But yeah, if you want some edge in the market, you want clear vision on your charts, whether you're using NinjaTrader or TradingView, come check us out. These are some powerful, powerful tools. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Never any guarantees in any market. But we would love, love, love to help you crush it with your trading. And I'm going to leave my screen up. I do think this is going to move kind of slow. And but we're heading into a pretty weak. We're heading into a pretty weak zone here. All right, let's go. Let's go. And you guys know if we hit 1,000, I close it out. So anyway, come check us out. MaverickIndicators.com. That's MaverickIndicators.com.